Hello and welcome back to Real Horror Show. I'm your host, Samantha, joined early by the Stormy Skies.
Hello, I was 3 minutes early to join our Zoom meeting.
Someone doesn't have school, so now she's punctual.
Yes, exactly. Very punctual, and I just pace around for hours until it's noon.
Until it's time to do something else.
Yeah, exactly. Until something's on my schedule. Yes. But hello, we are back.
Yeah, we're here this week to talk about an Italian horror movie that came out last year, I believe, called A Classic Horror Story. And I would say this is a classic horror story.
Yeah, it most certainly is. And don't let the name deceive you, and don't let that name make you think that it's like silly or like not worth a watch. Like, it for sure was pretty wild.
A Classic Horror Story is a 2021 Italian horror film written by Roberto De Fio, Paolo Strapoli, and Lucio Bissana, David Bellini, and Milo Tissone, and directed by Roberto De Fio and Paolo Strapoli. And then it stars a bunch of Italian people and Mark.
Oh yeah, there is Mark.
That's a TikTok joke, but it's also really the name of the only English-speaking character in this movie.
Yeah, I was surprised that when he started speaking English, I was like, oh, is it just one of those cultural things where they kind of switch back and forth? But no, he was not Italian, but he could speak some Italian. So
yeah, he was English and dating a hot Italian chick.
Yeah, and because once I saw him, he is like a ginger redhead, and I was like, huh, interesting. A ginger Italian guy. Haven't seen that. And alas, he was not Italian. So
alas,
he just wasn't. He was speaking the English.
Is that a cat?
I am so sorry. He's playing with the like a toy where the ball could go around.
Yeah. The ball toy, they fucking love that ball toy.
Yeah, there's this ball toy has it's like a tower, so it's like a pyramid. Mm-hmm. So it's like one ball on top, one in the middle, and one in the bottom, and he just hits it so fucking fast. that's that noise. So try to
hi. Yeah. So I guess let's get into acting. Did you watch this dubbed or subbed?
Oh, subbed for sure.
Okay, because Netflix for me, so for some reason, defaulted to the dub.
It still does that for you? Oh man.
Yeah. So I was confused for a second because the dub for the 3 minutes I watched wasn't bad, and the syncing was pretty well done. And it was like, I thought this was Italian. Why are they speaking perfect English? And then I realized it was because Netflix was being dumb.
Yeah.
But we've got Elissa,
Fabrizio,
yes, Mark, Sophie, and Ricardo. Plus some other characters that show up as the twists and turns of the movie go on. Really our final girl is Matilda Lutz as Elisa. And I thought she did a good job. She was a good final girl.
Oh yeah, I thought she was excellent.
She has all the classic hallmarks of a final girl. You know, she's pregnant at the beginning of the movie.
Of course, yeah.
Debating keeping the baby. Her mom wants her to get an abortion so she doesn't ruin her life, but Elissa, I think wants to keep the baby because she's not enjoying the current life path she's on. Yeah. And then we get a carpooling app is what she's using to get back home or go to the abortion clinic. And inside is Ricardo, who's a doctor, very handsome doctor, played by Pino Mazzotta. I assume probably like a famous Italian TV actor.
Oh, do you think he's the famous one?
Yeah, just because his name is actually hyperlinked on Wikipedia. I mean, Will Merrick and Matilda Lutz are too, but he is an Italian actor known for playing a police officer in the mystery series based on the character in movies. Yeah, so it sounds like he's in a cop drama over there in Italy that could be popular. How fitting.
I am so sorry. This never happens. It was my husband calling. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna text him.
Tell him to not. Matilda Lutz is an Italian-American model and actress. She starred in the 2017 horror film Rings and the action thriller Revenge. So I remember Rings coming out. I never saw it because any sequel to Rings just isn't as good as the first one. To The Ring just isn't as good as the first one.
Yeah.
But I do remember that movie coming out. So I guess she's an up-and-coming scream queen.
Yeah, it sounds like she's in some horror stuff. So that's pretty cool.
And then Mark, who's the English speaker, he is famous for being on Skins, the popular British TV show about rambunctious teenagers.
So I guess they called him English. I guess he's just like from like English, like from Britain or London or something like that.
Yeah, I believe Sophia says that they both went to America, but neither of them are from America.
Okay, gotcha.
They're just like there for influencer culture and shit like that.
Yeah. I could tell because she had TikTok up that or whatever. I guess that was supposed to be TikTok.
Yeah, it was a TikTok type app.
Wait, I have a quick question about that TikTok that she had. Is like a nudity allowed?
It's not, but since this isn't really TikTok,
I was like, what the fuck?
I mean, it was dude butts. So.
I know, but I was like, there's no way that American TikTok has any nudity, but I don't know if like European TikTok is
that's different. A good point because the world perceives nudity differently than puritanical America does.
That's exactly my point. Anyway.
But we have Francisco Russo as Fabrizio, who, segueing into story a bit, spoilers for a classic horror story, but if you're here, you should have watched the movie and done your homework.
Yeah, we told you to watch it.
He, I would say, is the Randy of the movie.
I know, he was like my favorite.
He was the Randy of the movie, and this movie answers the question of what if Randy was Ghostface?
Ooh, yeah. And that, what an excellent connection. Yes.
I would say
perfect.
He and the little girl, Chiara, were the best actors in this movie.
Yes.
Which that's another plot twist. Let's go ahead and get into story.
Let's do it.
It's hard to talk about their performances without breaking down into the spoilers and twists.
Definitely.
The movie.
All right, take it away. Yep.
So it starts with Matilda Lutz as Elisa talking to her mom about whether or not to get an abortion. Her mom thinks she should. She is on the fence. She doesn't seem to really want one. And she boards an RV driven by travel blogger Fabrizio and accompanied by Ricardo, a doctor, and Sophia and Mark, who are a couple. So it's like a rideshare app that I would personally never use because of a situation like this.
Yeah, that was interesting to me because I thought they were like her friends, but then I realized it was like strangers and I was like, oh shit, okay.
Which I think is a nice little twist on this genre. This is one of my favorite genres of horror. A bunch of dumbasses get lost in the woods and die. But there's a nice little added bit of tension when they're strangers.
Yeah, that's usually a group of like BFFs forever, but nobody knows each other, which is except for the couple.
Yeah. And as they're driving, Fabrizio gets tired. And so Mark, who's been drinking, volunteers to drive the rest of the way. They crash and end up in this weird little grassy area in front of a mysterious cabin. And that's when shit starts to hit the fan. Mark's leg is broken. They set it, but he can't really move. So they start trying to make a plan and figure out what to do from there.
Yes.
And as Fabrizio is wandering in the woods, he sees two people in the... No, that's later. Sorry, jumping ahead. Elisa finds a painting in the cabin that tells the story of, sorry for any name massacring, the story of Asso, Matrasso, and Carcanasso. It is a real urban legend that's still popular in Italy. The original legend traces back to the 15th century when brothers were banished from Spain because they murdered their sister's rapist. The brothers landed off the coast of near the Sicilian islands, where they created a new societal rules and eventually founded the three major crime organizations in Italy: Cosa Nostra, or the Mafia. I'm not even gonna try. They founded like three different types of mafias, and so this urban legend is deeply rooted in like the history of the mafia.
So these men murdered a rapist. I don't understand what the issue is.
It was the 15th century.
They should have been praised, and like these men should not be feared. But I see how it could be, got all twisted. But
yeah,
damn, good for them.
Well, I mean, this was back in the 15th century, so
that's true.
Rape was fine, but murder wasn't, because rape is always, the rapee's fault.
Oh, absolutely. The sister should have definitely been killed instead of the rapist. God damn it. He did not do anything wrong. She clearly was asking for it.
And now, these guys, they founded the mafia.
Now they founded the mafia, so you're welcome, everybody.
So we learned that legend. Fabrizio conveniently knows this legend very well, because his mom used to tell him a story at bedtime, which I could kind of see the twist coming, but it was still a nice surprise when the twist did happen.
Yes.
Because the hints were subtle enough. I could believe, especially knowing that this is a real urban legend in Italy, I could believe, the mom telling her kid the story.
Yeah.
So then they start trying to figure out how to get out, and he's exploring the woods looking for a way out. There's some severed pig heads that freak them out. He finds people in the woods at nighttime. Yeah, he leaves the van at night because they're going to sleep in the van. Yeah. He goes to take a piss, and that's when he sees the people in the woods. The girls hear screaming from the cabin and decide, to go explore the cabin, and they go up in the attic. Where they find a little girl in a cool little nest thing. Her tongue has been cut out. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
Fabrizio comes back and tells Riccardo, we need to hide. We need to go up in the attic. And this is another hint that Fabrizio was a bad guy, because they just fucking left Mark.
Oh, yeah. I guess they did. Broken leg Mark.
Without a second thought.
Well, he was mad at him anyway, because he was like, you drunk driving, blah, 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 blah. So,
but like, if there's men in the woods and you're like, we need to go hide.
Mark is just going to slow them down.
So everything outside turns red when a siren activates, and the three men from the urban legend come and take Mark from the van and misery him, which I feel like was just unnecessary and a little rude.
Misery.
Because they were going to kill him anyway, so it was just a dick move to break both of his ankles.
Very, very fucked up, because I thought they were just going to like maim him, you know what I mean? But like, at this point, we're led to believe that he might get maimed, because the little girl, if she had her tongue cut out, then maybe they're just going to break his little ankles, and that's it.
So he can't run away, right? Not that he could run away before, because his leg was already
broken. So that was actually kind of like silly. They could have like broken something else. I don't know, anything. But,
so I thought, oh, well, that's just going to be another complication to them trying to escape, is now both of Mark's legs are broken beyond repair.
Yeah, no, complication is a great word.
They just decided to kill him anyway. They just wanted to be assholes about it.
Yeah, they killed him in a very, the way they killed him made me like just kind of like cringe a little bit, because of the eyeball thing. Oh, I hate when anything's close to my eyeballs.
Yeah, man. It was like a clamp torture device that they kept turning the dial, and two spikes descended and stabbed him through the eye sockets.
Ugh, but it was like agonizingly slow.
And they cock teased him for a second. They stopped for a few minutes and then went right back to it.
And I don't know. And then I was saying to myself, I'm like, are they going to blind him? Because they do that thing where it's like one has no eyes, one has no mouth or whatever. But I was like, no, they might just kill him because it'll just like penetrate his brain and he'll just die. And he just died. And I was like, all right, that's that. There's your piece mark.
And that was that. And so they hide out in the attic for the rest of the night. And in the morning, they decide to make a break for it by heading north or south, one of those directions, out of the forest. They take the little girl with them. Elisa gives her a pair of shoes, which kind of helps develop Elisa's character, showing that she does care about kids. So she probably does want this baby.
Yes. Yeah, she's very motherly.
So Fabrizio's leading the way out of the woods. They find a kind of junkyard of cars. And in this junkyard of cars, they argue that, they didn't do anything to try and save Mark, which very true.
Yes, very true.
They didn't. They just left him to die.
They straight up left him behind. He couldn't even do anything. He was like helpless.
And Sophia's very upset about it. But Ricardo's like, well, you didn't try and fight me off. You could have bit my hand, kicked me in the balls, which also very true.
Ricardo. Yeah, but like, what the heck, Ricardo? That's like a mind game.
Yeah. The siren goes off again because I assume the farmers realized that they were gone.
Yeah.
But before that, I guess Elisa and the little girl Chiara have a moment in the car that we're led to believe was Chiara's parents' car, because there's a notebook in there with her name on it. And she says, do you know how to get out of the forest? And Chiara writes, this isn't a forest. Very creepy, very scary.
Very creepy. Ooh.
And I thought maybe they were in purgatory for a little bit.
I thought that they were in I was like, if this isn't a forest, then I was like, is this a campground then? Is it like this? You know what I mean? It's like camp, right?
Yeah. So they head out of the woods, but oh no, something went wrong. They're back at the cabin.
Oh no.
Fabrizio is like, I could have sworn this was the way.
Dude, this whole time, it's because I looked at my phone in the beginning of the movie and it threw me off. So at this point, I had no fucking idea that Fabrizio was the bad guy at all. And I thought that they were stuck in a place where no matter which direction they walked, they would just end up at the same place back at the house. That's what I thought at this point.
Like purgatory, pretty much.
Yeah, that's true. But then I was being stupid. And I was like, is this camp? Is this a resort? If it's not a forest, then what is it? What is it with all these trees? It was very early when I watched this 9 a.m. So Sophia and Fabrizio decide, well, the van's been stolen. I guess what we need to do is sleep in the cabin because that's better than just being out in the elements. So that's what they do. They camp out in the cabin. Nice. Ricardo keeping watch as they get ready for bed. They have a nice little moment where Fabrizio tells a joke where he's from the South. So this guy he knew kept saying, oh, you're a part of the mafia. And he's like, no, I'm not part of the mafia. And he kept saying that. So I had him killed. That was a funny joke.
And they all laugh and have a sweet moment and then go to bed.
Yes.
After sharing a beer, which Fabrizio, for some reason, never takes a drink of.
Ah, I see.
That's when I started really putting the pieces together.
Yeah. Okay.
And Elisa wakes up a few hours later and everybody's gone, except everybody's gone. And she goes outside to look for them, and the entire cult is just outside.
Very
and
scary.
Ricardo and Sophia are tied up to poles, about to be sacrificed, and Chiara is in her little nest again.
Yeah.
So what the three men need from their sacrifices are eyes, ears, and tongue, because they're essentially representations of, in American lore, see no evil, do no evil, or see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil.
Yeah.
They're a variant of that. And so they take Sophia's eyes, they take Ricardo's ears, which ears are very delicate.
Oh.
And yeah. I don't know what would hurt more, the eyes being gouged out or an ear being cut off.
Ooh, that's a good, because imagine a piercing, that kind of hurts.
Because if you sleep on your ear wrong, it's the most painful thing.
Yeah, for sure. And if you get a bunch of piercings in your ear, it can hurt really bad. But if your ear is removed, oh God.
Yeah. And with that, they do that weird thing with their mouth.
Yeah, what the fuck was that about?
I didn't enjoy that.
Me neither. It was very bizarre. I don't like that sound. I think they just chose a sound that would like make everyone like feel grossed out.
Yeah, and they made a good choice.
Yeah, they did. It was good.
Fabrizio drags Elisa back into the cabin, and she realizes, hey, you never drank the beer. Why? We would have heard them come in. What did you put in the beer?
Right.
And he hugs her, tries to comfort her, and then the dumbass has an earpiece that she can clearly hear.
Oh, yeah, what an idiot.
And so I guess his director or co-director, sorry, spoilers, the woman on the other end of the line is like, hey, move her under the deer head.
Yeah.
And she realizes this, and he's like, you're ruining everything, you cock tease.
The fuck?
And tells them to come get her.
Yes, and they take her and put her in the wheelchair.
And at this moment, I realized we still have a half hour left of this movie.
Yeah, it was a long time.
It's a fairly short movie. It's only an hour and a half, but
it seemed very long.
Like, I know they jammed so much shit into it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Then the next morning, they're having a nice Italian dinner. It kind of reminded me of Midsommar, the feast scene in Midsommar.
Yeah, where they eat the fish or whatever.
We're serenaded by a nice little Italian boy.
But he's like disfigured.
Yeah, because it's a cult movie. You always gotta have the disfigured one.
Have a Jason Voorhees kid.
Yeah. And I think earlier in the movie, a mayor was mentioned and how she was cleaning up the streets of the mafia, and she's there. She's well aware of what's going on, and
she's definitely the mafia because of her outfit.
Yes. She is the mafia. She's cleaning up the streets by basically containing all the mafia shenanigans to this one isolated area.
Yes.
That's essentially what I got from this.
Oh, that's excellent, because I was gonna ask, like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, I think
that makes sense.
I think she's providing for the farmers by telling them these sacrifices are what's making their crops bountiful.
Yeah.
But really, it's all just a disguise for, what mafias do.
Yeah, which is just kill people if they don't get their things.
Let's see. The local mayor is revealed to be part of the regional Italian mafia group and the person sponsoring his film. Mm-hmm. So that's another twist, is when Elisa is taken from the dinner table and rolled into a camera room or a video observation room, she realizes that Fabrizio has been filming everything, and he admits to it. He admits that he is making a movie, an awesome horror movie, and if he was in America, he would have already had a sequel planned out, and she calls him out that his work is just fucking derivative.
But he's like, no, I'm trying to make like real life snuff films with like the horror element instead of just the death.
Yes. And
she's like, no, you're such a loser. And he gets like all mad.
Mm-hmm. And in doing so, like, I think the overall like deeper plan is to reestablish these three men into Italian lore.
Yeah, like
so
mainstream.
That they can continue doing this, and it's just, it's the three men came and got these people because of the legend, but it's just the mafia killing their enemies.
For sure.
She manages to escape by ripping her hands off the nails. She finds the costumes and finds his trailer and realizes that Chiara is his little sister and was in on it the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I think she's one of the little girl is probably the second best actor in this movie.
Yeah.
I didn't see that twist coming.
Me neither. I really thought that she was, a victim.
Like when I heard the other voice he was talking to in the trailer, I was like, that's probably the little girl. But she was a very good, reminiscent of Texas Chainsaw 03, The Hitchhiker. Sad, scared.
Yes.
Very disheveled. And then we see her again in the trailer, and she's just a snarky teenager.
Yeah, like on her phone, and she's like, I have to wear this tongue depressor for like 2 days. And I'm sweaty.
Yeah.
That was funny.
So it was a very good, like, two different characters she was playing.
Yeah, she was. Excellent. And then the big finish.
Yeah, then as she's leaving the cabin, Elise has gone and got a shotgun, and she just point blank shoots the 12-year-old girl in the chest.
Right, the fucking chest, and she just flies backwards.
Yeah. Which, talking like this is really weird.
It is.
With what just happened in our country.
Sorry. Yeah, but
I was thinking about that last night. Is, oh God, a little girl gets shot in the chest, and that's how she dies in this movie. But she was the bad guy. It was self-defense. But still, I'll post some donation GoFundMe's to the victims of the recent school shooting in the description of this episode. But anyway, we're not justifying anything. We're just recapping what happened in the movie.
Yes, for sure.
But also, we should watch this and realize that's what happens when you shoot a child in the chest, and no one needs these weapons of mass killing in their homes.
Exactly. And the gun that was actually being used in this movie was just a shotgun at this point, so it wasn't even a gun that was meant to shoot humans a bunch of times in one clip. It's probably meant for livestock or something like that. Anyway.
And then
so she rests in peace, and then next
she proceeds to do the same thing to Fabrizio, and then it ends with her running into a little chubby kid who was at the beach.
Oh, bless him.
I loved him. He didn't have any lines, but the fact that he was in pool floaties, in flip-flops in the middle of the woods.
In his little trunks and his big belly. And I was like, look at this kid. He came from the beach. So it is a resort or a camp after. It was very bizarre.
So she follows him to the beach. Everybody stares at this poor blood-soaked girl as she walks into the ocean, taking videos of her. Hopefully someone's called a medic. And they're
hopefully someone did something or like for her. I don't know.
So she gets in the ocean to wash the blood off, and she kind of just floats there, and she wraps her arms around her stomach, which is housing her baby. And the implication is that she is going to keep the baby.
Yes.
After all of this.
But wait, after she gets to the beach, they like duck under this fence, and it says that like the sign says it's like a government site and like there's no trespassing.
I'm willing to say that since his mom is the mayor and also the mafia leader, that they just put that up there so they can do their thing without concern of
the little pool boy. Yeah. So it's like a compound almost in a way. And that's how it ends. But like whenever she's floating, guys, she's underwater. She doesn't like come back up. But it does end that way. And it was a wild ride.
It was.
That was it. Wait, what about the scene right after whenever the movie is like on Bloodflix?
Yeah, so the movie does get uploaded to Bloodflix and it gets a thumbs down.
It's a thumbs down. Wah, wah. But the dude who watched it watched like the beginning and the end. You know what I mean? Do people do that? I guess they just watch the beginning and the end to make their decision. So despite the guy's wishes, the movie still didn't make the impact that he wanted, despite the real death. Right. Yeah, so that is the story. So I hope everybody watched it.
Yeah, and what I did enjoy about this movie is it really did feel like if Randy was the killer in Scream.
Yes.
Because Fabrizio is very much a Randy character.
He is. There's a great line in Scream when fucking the boyfriend is talking to Randy, and he said, has your movie freaked mind lost its reality button? He says those words, and that's like basically what this kid is dealing with right now. He's obsessed with movies. They do a little trivia game in the beginning of the film, so it kind of gives you a baseline. And he's like a movie nut. Specifically, they were talking about It, like Pennywise the Clown from It, so like horror movies. And yeah, so if Randy did turn to the dark side, that is what would happen.
Absolutely.
And it was actually pretty cool to have that, like, to have that side of it, because I know there are movies that do showcase that side, but this movie was so reminiscent of like a Scream-like movie because it was very self-aware, because it kept talking about like being in a movie, or like, this is what would happen in a horror movie, and he was describing being in a movie, and he's like, this is a classic horror movie. We're isolated, we have no phones, like we're in a like wreck, there's like people coming after us, and it is very, very cool stuff. So that's a really great connection.
Yeah, I got a lot of Scream vibes from this movie. I don't know. I know Scream 6 got greenlit. It would be cool if Scream 6 did something different, and instead of a typical slasher, they did a group of friends get lost in the woods situation.
Would be cool. I still haven't seen Scream 5. I'm so sorry. It's because I have to I have to purchase it myself, like as a Blu-ray or something. So, but don't worry, I will watch it soon.
I mean, you need it. I assume you have the other 4 on DVD or Blu-ray, so
yes, absolutely do. You
have to complete the collection.
I do. I have to complete the collection. Yeah. So I will probably be getting that pretty soon, because my birthday month is soon. So I will see it before 6 comes out, hopefully.
Hopefully. Let's get into production. Yeah. I love the look of this movie.
This movie was so scary looking.
Was so appealing to look at.
Yeah.
It was the cool colors, like the greens and the blues, were very desaturated.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the reds and the pinks just really popped off the screen. And I really thought that was a beautiful look for a horror movie. And exactly what I was hoping for from an Italian horror movie, where, Italians are all about their style and aesthetics and fashion.
Yes.
So it was very beautiful to look at. I thought the cinematography was great. The horror score was very classic.
Yeah.
A lot of violin screeching and high tension string instruments going on in the background.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite types of score for a horror movie.
So they really went into this trying to make it into a classic horror movie. So the title is very apropos.
It is.
And I'm glad they stuck with that theme of I wouldn't say it looked vintage, but the desaturation, and I think there was a slight film grain over some of the scenes, really helped create that classic aesthetic that we recognize from 70s and 80s horror movies.
Yeah, absolutely. And then with the modern twist of just like having a smartphone, but it still doesn't help you.
Right.
Cool. Yeah, I agree with you with the colors and everything, especially whenever they really used the color red a lot to their advantage whenever like the scary air raid alarms were going off and like the bad guys were coming. When the air raid alarms were on, so were like these red floodlights, and like that just bathed everything in this dark red color, and it was very sinister and like super cool. I haven't really seen anything like that before. And in the minisode before this, I talked about how the posters are on like, Google kind of show that same, black and red light in the pictures and stuff. So that's really cool. Another thing is the gore. Whenever there was gore, stuff like that, there was adequate, like blood. It wasn't too much. It was just they were trying to be real about it, and I appreciated that. How it looked was great. Even like whenever someone is getting shot in the head, it's great. So I'm glad they didn't skimp on that. in favor of the style. They had a perfect balance of everything they needed. And yes, the cinematography was wonderful because everything, despite the, like the color desaturation, everything looked quite clean at the same time, if that makes sense. It just looked really good. Like the production value was very high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very pretty.
Very, very well done. I think what else? The place they were at was pretty cool. I'm not sure what area of Italy they were in, but it was just like straight up forest.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I think
pine trees. Yeah.
I don't know if they shot in southern Italy, but I believe they're in southern Italy.
Okay, gotcha.
Just just all the talk about the mafia being in southern Italy and all of that. I think that's where it's supposed to be set.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, because they kept describing like the south of Italy. I don't know much about Italian mafia, like the real Italian mafia in Italy, and I didn't realize they like hailed from the south. But that's interesting.
The one that is featured in this movie is a prominent Italian mafia type organized crime syndicate and criminal society based in the peninsular mountainous region of Calabria, and dates back to the 18th century. It is considered to be one of the most powerful organized crime groups in the world.
Wow. I bet they are.
Which now makes me wonder about this whole movie. Like,
yeah,
is the director safe? Is he part of this?
I was gonna say, is the mafia just trying to like just get into the movie making business?
I mean,
yeah. Well, look at us Americans. All we do left and right is make all these mafia movies about like the mafia constantly, and they don't really care. Mm-hmm. They probably think it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if they're scared of us even more, that's good.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they're all right with it. They probably get a chuckle out of it. They probably won't even go on Netflix to watch it.
No, they're going to go on Bloodflix to watch it.
They're going to go on Bloodflix, which has like, when the guy clicked on it on his computer, the icon was like an onion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that is supposed to mean, but yeah, Bloodflix. Maybe it was like an incognito thing because it was like a dad's computer, and Bloodflix must be like the movie watching place where you watch all your snuff films.
Yes. But yeah, overall, I thought this was a very well done movie. It's a lot for an hour and a half.
It is a lot, but it was cool.
I enjoyed the twists. I enjoyed the turns.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I guess realistic aspects. Writing with strangers, don't do that.
Yeah, no.
Like I wasn't gonna do it before this. Now I'm definitely not gonna do this.
Definitely don't, because like they're gonna have like an 8-pack of beer randomly, and then everyone's gonna be drunk after one beer, allegedly. Gonna get into a car accident.
Yeah, and what's worse is, what if one of the people you're riding with is the son of a mafia lord?
Yeah, like, geez, you will never know because they won't tell you. He just acted like a creep the whole time anyway, with his like, live stream stuff and his hug, so I don't know. It's a weird dude.
Mm-hmm. But he was a fun villain. I liked him a lot.
Yeah, he was excellent. Other realistic aspects, the mafia.
Yeah. Apparently they're still thriving over there in Italy.
Yeah, the real life Italian mafia. Like, wow.
And
pretty cool.
I guess your friends just kind of leaving you to die when you're injured.
Oh yeah, poor Englishman.
Poor Mark.
Well, he was the ginger, and so he was gonna die regardless. I feel like that might be a thing.
That's fair.
Also, I guess like being pregnant and being like coerced into trying to have an abortion when you're not really sure what you want to do yet.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing. Having your phone not work and being stranded, that can be a very terrifying thing.
That was something I wanted to point out, because people who don't watch horror films always feel like it's a valid critique to be like, oh, I guess their cell phones don't work.
No.
I mean, we have to establish that the cell phones don't work, just like in the 1970s, we had to establish that the phone line was cut.
Yes.
You have to have this, like, it's a trope, but it exists because if you're able to call for help, then there's no movie.
Right, exactly. And also whenever they're at this point in my life, you know, like I've been to different places just in my state alone where like, listen, I don't have service.
Mm-hmm.
I do have the ability to make an emergency phone call when I don't have service, but there are places where like legit, you probably don't have fucking service if you're in the middle of the forest like that, like for real.
Yeah. There are plenty of places here in America where you don't get service.
Especially it depends on your like provider as well. So like it's not that far of a reach to say that you're in the middle of the fucking woods where with no cell towers and you have like the worst possible provider and you don't have service. Like that probably happens to a lot of people.
Driving through the Midwest can get very frustrating because you don't have service in a lot of areas.
Yeah, that's what happens when you drive through the middle of the state of Pennsylvania is just like dead zones or just like no service in these small little towns and you have to wait until you get to the next town over. So no one complained about, oh, you'd have like service. Like you don't have service like everywhere ever on the planet. Like you just don't.
One detail I liked about that though is throughout the movie we see Elisa trying to text her mom to let her know I'm on my way, but we've crashed and I'm scared. And by the time she gets to the beach and gets service again, all the text messages from her mom start flooding in. So I thought that was a very nice detail.
That is very, very cool. Yeah. Because that is what happens. And she's like, if this is a prank, you're not going to get away with it. And it's like, oh, geez.
Yeah. But overall, this movie is a lot, but it was a fun time. It kept me on my toes.
Yeah, me too. It was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it a lot. And the final girl was really, really great.
Mm-hmm.
But she also had an extra, motivator to want to survive because she is pregnant. So that's kind of a little bit of a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked that.
I think the last time I knowingly knew we had a pregnant final girl would be Black Christmas 1978.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Yeah, you're probably right because I'm trying to like flip through all the movies in my brain and I don't think anything else. Yeah.
The abortion subplot was pretty not subtle in Black Christmas.
Yeah. Black Christmas. Oh, geez. Didn't we cover that?
We did.
Nice. That movie was like fucking crazy.
But I would give this an that fucked me up because I had a good time.
Yeah, that definitely fucked me up too. So I would give it the same grade. Excellent movie. Definitely watch it in Italian. Very cool. I loved it. I'm glad that you chose it. Really, really cool stuff. It was a classic horror movie for sure, but very modern as well.
It was.
I loved it. All right, man. I don't think I have anything else to add.
I think that's all I've got.
All right. Well, you know what? I've got the outro notes right here. So if you're ready to close the door to this.
I'm ready.
All right, cool. Real Horror Show was created by Sam Odie and Stormy Skies and is directed by Sam Odie. What did we learn today, Sam? I think you said it a couple times. Don't do a rideshare app.
Don't do rideshare. Don't.
Like, just don't do it. Just do so. Just ride by yourself, like in an Uber. You know what I mean? Like solo riding.
Yep. Spend the extra money to not get murdered.
For sure. Just a little bit extra, but like there won't be any delays. You know what I mean? Like there won't be a problem. Nobody will be like horsing around in the RV. You'll just be strapped in a car. All right. But anyway, that's what we learned. So like what you hear, you can find Real Horror Show on Spotify, TuneIn, Google Play Store, Stitcher, iTunes, and Pandora. Really, really like what you hear? Follow us on Twitter at Horror Show Pod or search for Real Horror Show on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook at Real Horror Show. Like our page and share our stuff. We also have a website that all of our written reviews and podcasts can be found, realhorrorshow.com. Want to interact with us? Want to make sure we're real humans and not space vampires? Well, comment on our website or email us at realhorrorshowpodcast@gmail.com. Want to argue with us about something? Or think you have a really great horror movie review that you're dying to share with two random strangers from the internet? Well, submissions are open for movie reviews. Check out the submit page on our website and follow the rubric before sending us anything. If it's not done according to the rubric, it will be disregarded. Sorry, not sorry. We love horror, and if you're listening, you do too, I hope. So please keep our project going by visiting our support page on our website, where you can make a one-time donation via PayPal. We also have an Amazon wish list if you feel like buying us something tangible will help convey your love more than a monetary donation would. Also, you can find the Buy Us a Coffee button on our website. It's a button you can click that will pay us the amount you would need to buy a coffee. A little bit goes a long way. Sometimes we can't help out artists monetarily, and that's okay. By simply liking, sharing, retweeting, and even giving us an awesome review will help us out tremendously. And any other pertinent news?
Not at this time.
Yep, same here. Hope everyone's enjoying the weather being warmer. Mm-hmm. So our outro song is called Creepy Doll by Jonathan Colton. Thank you, fuck off, and have a swell evening. And this is Real Horror Show signing off.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And there's a creepy doll that always follows you. It's got a